Welcome to the Sleepy Channel, a place to relax, where every moment brings you closer to sleep. Hi, and welcome to today's story on Sleepy. If you enjoy these kinds of stories, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video. It helps more people discover it on YouTube. And if you have a favorite tale or an idea you'd love to hear in a dreamy, soothing version, let us know in the comments. Your dream might just become our next episode. To prepare for this journey, let's take a few moments to calm the body and mind. Find a comfortable spot in your bed. Adjust your pillows and blankets so you feel completely at ease. Allow your body and thoughts to gently begin to relax. Let's start by gently softening the muscles of your forehead. Now let the muscles around your eyes relax too. Feel the tension slowly melt away. Unclench your jaw and let your tongue rest softly. Take a deep breath in and slowly exhale. As slowly as feels comfortable. With each breath out, feel yourself becoming a little lighter. Now relax your neck and shoulders and let them sink softly into rest. Place your arms comfortably by your sides and allow your fingers to relax completely. Imagine a pleasant, warm sensation flowing through your body, from the top of your head all the way down to your toes. With every breath, you feel a deeper sense of calm. Now imagine you're aboard an old, elegant train gliding through the night. The stars stretch endlessly across the sky outside your window, and the soft, rhythmic clatter of the wheels echoes gently down the quiet wooden corridor. The golden glow of antique lamps casts warm, flickering light along the carved walls, wrapping the space in a feeling of timeless calm. The train hums with silence, its slow, soothing motion inviting you to relax, to let go of the day and drift inward toward stillness. This place is filled with mystery, with stories waiting just beyond the veil of sleep. And tonight, we're about to uncover something truly special. As you sink deeper into rest and let your thoughts gently float, the story begins to take shape around you. And now, we're ready for the journey. This is where our story begins. The soft clatter of the train echoed gently between the walls of the compartments as it glided on through the star-filled night. The slow, rocking motion lulled the passengers into a dreamlike state, letting them rest like sleeping shadows in their cabins. The gold-framed lamps seemed to float in their muted glow along the corridor lined with carved wood where Emma moved forward slowly and thoughtfully. All her senses were alert, and yet she couldn't quite say why she was here, on this train, at this unknown time, in this unfamiliar place. The cool touch of the metal handles felt real, just like the faint creaking of the floor beneath her steps. But one thing was missing from her memory. How had she gotten here? When she reached a door, her eyes fell on a small brass nameplate. Emma Rivers. Her heart beat softly, yet steadily. Deep inside, she knew this was how it was meant to be, that this journey was more than just a simple train ride. For a moment she hesitated, her hand hovering over the handle, then slowly pressed it down. The door clicked quietly and opened into a cozy, beautiful cabin. It felt like stepping into an enchanted reading room. Plush, deep blue velvet seats invited her to sit and stay a while. In the center stood an intricately crafted wooden table. On it rested a fine porcelain teacup with a silver spoon beside it, as if someone had just stepped out for a moment. Emma stepped inside slowly, closed the door behind her, and took in her surroundings. The walls were adorned with strange carvings, patterns that depicted rolling oceans, intricate constellations, and towering trees whose branches seemed to vanish into the darkened ceiling above. Each one seemed to tell a story, a long-forgotten fairy tale waiting to be rediscovered. She stepped up to the window, and what she saw there confirmed without a doubt that this journey wasn't happening in the ordinary world. Beneath the tracks, there was no earth. No towns, no villages, no forests passed by. Instead, an endless deep blue universe stretched out where stars floated like glowing islands. The train wasn't moving through a landscape of this world. It was traveling through something far greater and more mysterious. For a moment, Emma held her breath. A feeling washed over her, a deep, instinctive knowing she couldn't put into words. The silence was broken by a gentle knock. Emma flinched and turned toward the door. It creaked open slowly, and in the narrow gap appeared a young girl. Her long snow-white dress shimmered like silk with every movement. Her light brown blonde hair fell in soft waves over her shoulders, and in her eyes was a kind of timeless wisdom. She didn't seem like a stranger, and in a strange way, Emma felt as though the girl had been watching her for some time. "Welcome to the journey, Emma," she said at last, her voice soft and clear. Emma's heart skipped a beat. "Who are you?" she asked cautiously. The girl smiled and walked over to the table, gently tracing her fingers across the smooth wooden surface. "It's not important who I am," she said quietly. "What matters more is who you truly are." Emma was confused. Something deep inside told her this girl was more than she appeared to be. like she knew something Emma didn't yet understand. "I'm just a passenger on this train," she said uncertainly. The girl nodded and gestured toward the window. "Look again, Emma. Tell me what you see." Emma hesitated, then stepped once more to the window. Outside, among the stars, something had appeared in the distance. A monumental silver-glowing gate, as if it held the secrets of the entire universe. Delicate, intricate patterns flowed across its surface, shifting constantly, as though they were alive. The train was heading straight toward it. "Where are we going?" Emma whispered. The girl stepped beside her, gazing with her at the approaching gate. "To where you've always belonged," she replied mysteriously. The train sped up. Emma's heart pounded harder as the gate grew larger, until it finally enveloped the entire train. In the next instant, everything went dark. Emma felt nothing. No time, no space. It was as if the entire world had collapsed into a single, suspended moment. Then, a soft blue light began to glow within the darkness, and slowly, the blackness began to lift. The darkness faded gradually as Emma started to perceive her surroundings again. After the weightless stillness, she now felt solid ground beneath her feet, but it was unlike anything she had ever known. The train had come to a stop in the middle of a vast meadow bathed in soft blue light. The landscape was like nothing she'd ever seen. The plants covering the ground weren't ordinary blades of grass. At their tips were tiny flickering lights, like countless little stars breathing in a secret rhythm. Emma stepped off the train, and as her foot touched the strange earth, she felt something magical happen. The tiny lights responded to her touch, slowly lifting into the air and dancing all around her. Her breath caught in her throat. In the middle of the glowing meadow stood a small wooden house. Simple and timeless, it looked as though it had always been there. But Emma didn't just see the house, she felt it. A familiar sensation washed over her, something she had long forgotten. A strange kind of nostalgia. It was as if a deeply buried memory was slowly rising back to the surface. Emma began walking toward the house. The gravel path crunched softly beneath her steps, while the floating lights continued to dance around her as if they were watching. With each step, she came closer to a realization. She had been here before. But how could that be? As she stepped onto the porch, a small figure appeared in front of the house. A little girl. She couldn't have been older than 4. Her pale blue dress fluttered gently in the soft breeze, and her long brown hair cascaded gently over her shoulders. In her tiny hands, she held a notebook with a checkered cover, its golden letters shimmering faintly in the light. Emma felt her heart race. The child looked up at her, and suddenly, Emma understood. This little girl was herself. Her breath caught as their eyes met. It was like looking into a mirror, not a mirror of the present, but of the past. The child looked at her with a blend of curiosity, knowing, and a kind of gentle expectancy. Without saying a word, the girl held out the notebook to her. It was as if she had been waiting all this time for Emma to arrive. Her movement was calm, full of trust. Emma stepped closer, her fingers trembling slightly as she accepted the notebook. The touch felt strangely familiar, as though the years had never separated her from it. The cover was smooth, a little worn, but the stories hidden inside felt powerful. Carefully, she opened to the first page. The pages weren't just filled with words, but with colorful drawings, swirling letters, and tiny notes. Each one was a fragment of her childhood dreams, stories she had once written, back when she still believed in magic, back when she knew anything was possible. Emma's eyes filled with tears. At some point, she had forgotten it all. The passage of time, the pressure of growing up, the weight of everyday life had caused the memories of those dreams to fade. She had stopped believing in the power of words. She had forgotten that magic existed. But now, she held this notebook in her hands, filled with the stories she had once created with love and imagination. And she realized the magic had never left her. She was the one who had stopped looking for it. The little girl smiled, took a step back, and suddenly the meadow around them began to glow more brightly. Emma felt something shift. Slowly, the figure of the child began to fade. The shimmering lights around her grew brighter, swirling gently through the air as the girl seemed to dissolve into them. Emma looked into her eyes one last time, into the eyes of her younger self, still smiling, before she disappeared completely into the radiant light. Only the notebook remained in Emma's hands. The air around her vibrated softly, and the glowing meadow began to fade. The tiny lights that once shone like stars on the ground now floated upward, rising into the sky, as if returning to their rightful place among the stars. Emma felt a deep calm settle within her. In the next moment, she was back on the train. The cabin was just as she had left it, warm, inviting, with the intricate wooden carvings on the walls and the gentle golden lighting. But something was different. She was different. The notebook was still in her hands. It no longer felt like a relic from the past, but like a key to something she had thought was lost. Just then, the cabin door opened quietly. Livia, the young conductor, stepped inside. In her hand was a steaming cup of tea, its calming scent of lavender and vanilla wafting through the air. She placed it gently on the table and gave Emma a knowing smile. "It looks like you found what you were looking for," she said softly. Emma looked at her, then down at the notebook in her hands. After a quiet moment, she nodded. "Yes, I think I did." Livia turned her gaze to the window. Emma followed it and saw that the dreamlike landscape with its floating fields of stars had vanished. In its place, familiar city lights appeared on the horizon. The lamps of a station glowed softly in the misty darkness as the train slowly returned to reality. Emma took a deep breath. She knew the train would soon come to a stop and that this journey was coming to an end. But she also knew that in truth, everything was only just beginning. As the train slowed and finally came to a gentle halt, Emma rose, holding the notebook tightly to her chest, and walked to the door. With one last glance around the cabin, she said goodbye to the place where her journey had begun. Then she stepped out onto the platform, into the cool night air, and paused for a moment to take it all in. The train let out a soft whistle, then slowly began to move again. Emma watched as it disappeared into the mist of the night, knowing it would carry more travelers and more stories on its way. But her story was just beginning. She looked down at the notebook in her hands and smiled. With newfound courage and the quiet certainty that magic never truly disappears, that it only waits to be rediscovered, she turned and walked into the night.